When I was studying maths at school, I struggled with motivation just because maths wasn't applied to anything. And when we were doing maths for the sake of it and to differentiate and to integrate just because that's what we were being asked to do, I found it difficult to be motivated, therefore ended up convincing myself that, oh, maybe I'm actually quite bad at maths.
I think there's always been this myth that girls aren't as good at maths as boys, and I think maybe it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Girls have this baggage that they're not good at maths, but perhaps that makes them think they aren't and believe that they aren't.
Realising maths can be applied to all sorts of real-life situations. It can be applied to things that I'm actually very interested in. Suddenly became good at maths because I cared more about it, therefore effort level, therefore actually being good at it.
I'm not sure where the myth of women be bad at math comes from. From my personal experience, when I was at school, girls were equally good or bad as boys in math. So yeah, definitely math shouldn't be a limitation for girls into going into an engineering career.
Engineering is an incredibly broad subject, and so some people have the perception that it might be boring and involve lots of manual work, but that really isn't true in many respects.
The reason why I really like my job is because it's so diverse, and every day there is a different challenge, a different project and different experience.
I'm studying Earth and Ocean Science at Cardiff University, and I chose that because as a keen scuba diver and someone who has always lived near the coast, always fascinated by coastal processes, understanding it and understanding the mechanisms of what's happening in the surrounding that I love so much, and understanding marine biology and biodiversity during scuba diving prompted my interest to study ocean science.
The project that I'm working on currently is part of the implementation of the National Flood Forecasting and Warning System for Malaysia. These are big tropical rivers with high levels of rainfall and massive flooding problems in the urban areas of the big cities and the rural areas as well.
So the division that I work with at HR Wallingford is coastal structures, and I'm one of about 4 or 5 different women in the team.
I work in flood management at HR Wallingford, and we're a very mixed team. In fact, at HR Wallingford overall, I think the balance is more than a third of our technical staff are female.
We're a mixture of junior engineers, myself as a placement student, senior engineers, and our group manager is female as well.
When I was at university, 1/10 of my course was female, but since the early 90s when I was at university, the balance has redressed, and there are now many more women studying engineering than 20 or 30 years ago. It's certainly possible to combine a career in engineering with having a family in the same way that it is with any other career, I think. Flexible working arrangements mean that it's certainly possible. I'm an example of that, and many of my female colleagues have young families that they look after in combination with work. In fact, a lot of employers are very keen to get their female engineers back to work after their maternity leave and get their skills back in their teams. And so it's important to have good employers who understand that.
That career prospects are limited for women in engineering, and definitely we should not be limiting ourselves into going forward, and we should be a bit braver and apply for higher qualified jobs.
I don't think that there's any less prospect for women in engineering than there is for men these days. I mean, why should there be? There's no physical reason why we can't do the same jobs in engineering. In fact, I think women are very good engineers because they're very good at multitasking generally. I mean, a lot of the women I know are very, very proficient multitaskers and great project managers.
I'm hoping to potentially do a master's in a different country to study abroad for a year. And then after that, I'd like to go into environmental consultancy or marine consultancy, environmental surveys, things like that.
In fact, there are skills shortages in this country at the moment and in a lot of countries, and so engineers are really in demand. And so a woman engineer who's equally as good as a man engineer. There's no reason why we shouldn't be up there.
When I was at school, one of my friends wanted to study chemistry to go into cosmetics, or one of my friends is doing civil engineering or architecture because she enjoyed buildings, and it's just different things that you're interested in. If you persevere with the science, you can apply it to something in the future that you're really interested in, that you're passionate about.
Well, I would say to a young woman that's thinking to start an engineering career, go for it. And there are challenges in every job, not just in engineering. Don't believe that it's not for girls. And don't be scared of math and physics. Definitely is something we can handle.